the Czechoslovak capital, Prague, a city of 100 spires, whose history is engraved in its stone memorials, but even deeper inscribed in the hearts of its people. Prague welcomed to its heart the delegation from the European Economic Commission of United Nations Organization. The members of its agricultural section came to Czechoslovakia on the invitation of the Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry to become thoroughly acquainted with the development and present state of Czechoslovak agriculture, to see the life of the Czechoslovak people and the beauty of the country. In the course of their tour, they were attracted by the historic memorials, evidence of the wealth of the past. With great interest, they saw over the castle of Konopistya, south of Prague. But the variety of colourful impressions changed quickly. Not even Mr. Hall of Switzerland could resist taking a picture of the enchanting scenery of the Pragovsky rocks. The Bohemian landscape enchanted our guests as much as did the work of human hands in the surroundings of beautiful nature. They admired the greatest of Czech dams at Slupy, which makes a fundamental contribution to increasing the supply of electric power to Czechoslovakia's mature industry. Many Czechoslovak products are exported to all parts of the world. Therefore, the delegates did not fail to visit the famous Pilsen brewery. Already at home, they'd made the acquaintance of Pilsen Prazdroj, sought after the world over. But the nearer the source, the better the beer tastes. In this vat, beer has been boiled for more than 100 years. But the great skill of Pilsen brewers has an even longer tradition. It is understandable that agricultural experts show great interest in the manufacture of agricultural machinery. So their way led them to the Jan Schwemmer factory in Brno, which makes the Zeta 35 tractor. With these, we satisfy the needs of our villages, and at the same time, we export them to all parts of the world. By 1960, Czechoslovak factories will turn out more than 36,000. The Zetor Super tractor is produced in two types, wheeled and caterpillar. Mr. Shen carried out a practical test of the maneuverability and ability of the second type. Monsieur Franche of Belgium and Mr. Dulich of Yugoslavia, like all the delegates, were taken up with this unusual spectacle. representatives of the Economic Commission for Europe traveled hundreds of miles in the Czechoslovak Republic, studying its agriculture. In the southern regions, the full ears of winter barley fall to the comb of the newest Czechoslovak combine harvesters. The machine and tractor stations gave irreplaceable help in getting in the harvest. The members of the delegation examined the equipment of one of these stations at Uhlierske Janovice. At the agricultural cooperative in Svirotice, they were surprised at the 28 new, neatly arranged houses and the number of farm buildings for a comparatively small cooperative farm. Some of these, the people of Svirotice built themselves. The pride of their husbandry is livestock production. The state stud at Kladruby has a 400-year-old tradition. This institute breeds thoroughbred horses for all studs in Czechoslovakia. The conditions for breeding horses were the subject of detailed interest on the part of the delegates. For others, an excellent opportunity was presented to take snapshots of these capricious animals. A surprise awaited the delegates in the Olomouc region. The cooperators at Myslekovice welcomed them according to the ancient Slav custom with bread and salt. And then, while showing their guests over the farm, they boasted of the results of their 4 years of collective farming. The average yearly income of all workers of over 17,000 crowns, besides payment in kind, is evidence that good work brings good rewards. In the afternoon, they all got together in a friendly gathering. The leader of the Soviet delegation, Mr. Tulupnikov, selected pleasant society for a discussion. And finally, friends from the German Democratic Republic, member of the Secretariat of the Agricultural Section, Mr. Britton, Mr. Vreeland of America, and the Director of the Agricultural Section, Mr. Sinard, wish the cooperative farmers of Myslekovice much success in the future. In the evening, when the first tones of folk music sounded from the palace at Zhidlikovice, vivacious Moravian girls invited the guests to dance. A happy and friendly end to the visit to Czechoslovakia of members of the Agricultural Section of the Economic Commission for Europe. They saw our country and the life of our people. The life of the Czechoslovak people in their peaceful work and their happiness.